The general manager of Montreal Canadiens, Marc Bergevin. How are you?
Good. How are you?
We're doing great over here. Not much change for your team this year. Briere comes in, George Parros coming in. All part of your plan when you took over this club.
Yeah, I mean, we last year as our first year shortened season, we evaluated our players, and all other general manager, we all have hurdles to deal with, cap situation. So we manage that the best we can, but we feel comfortable with our team right now.
Now, Mark,
Turn your mic on there.
You're watching the highlights of Big John Scott go after Kessel, and you turn around to whoever's beside you and said, "Yeah, that's why we went and got George Parros. What's old is new is old again."
Well, I mean, you have to adjust sometimes, and we have guys that step up to the plate last year, but we feel bringing George in add another addition to our team that maybe we're lacking. So. Knowing him from his days in Anaheim and, a Stanley Cup winner, we felt that it was an acquisition that we needed at the time.
I'm just wondering overall the role of toughness. It's always kind of a fine balance there, Mark. And you think years ago it was a tougher league in a lot of ways. Now there tends to be always a knee-jerk overreaction or underreaction about it. And maybe was it a tangible void with your team? I mean, where do you look at the role of it in 2013?
Well, it's all you mentioned earlier. It's all about balance. I mean, you need to have balance, and facing, we have a division now with teams who have, a lot of those guys, and it's fine. It's again, you need to adjust. As you know, Nick, in the past, he come and goes. So it's part of our game that we did last year address, and we felt that this year it was needed a little bit more. So again, as we move forward, we'll address it, but. At the time, we felt there was a need for our club.
Bringing a new goalie coach from the Stanley Cup champion Chicago Blackhawks. So where do you need Carey Price to be better? What are they working on?
Well, in details, you know what? I never was a goalie scout, and I just could tell you if a goalie has a good game or a bad game. The details of it, I let that Stefan wait. But, looking at Stefan's background, what he did in Chicago with Anthony Emmy and Corey Crawford, with especially Corey the year before, had a really tough playoff run and struggled against Phoenix, but bounced back and won a Stanley Cup. So he brings that knowledge, that credibility right away. So we felt that he's going to be a good asset for our club and Carey Price.
Hey, Mark, right before training camp, someone asked you about the PK Subban negotiations, and you made a reference that it takes two to tango. So give us the goods here. Is he ducking you, or what's the deal?
Well, I don't negotiate in public, guys, so I'll never go that route. Donnie and I have a really good relationship, and, again, that was probably blown out of proportion. What I'm saying in any case, not only PK's case, any other players, the club and the agent and the players obviously on the same wavelength. So, our intention is to keep PK in Montreal for a long time, and I'm positive that Donnie and PK feel the same way. So in time due, we'll have an agreement in place.
Now, Mark, last year you got PK in place. You had not one but two young players thrive as rookies. So a lot of positives went your way. So there's improvement. Now there's expectations where last year maybe there was a bit of a pleasant surprise for fans. How do you get to the next level?
Well, you look at your club in general. Me taking over the club about a year and a half ago, the team finished 15th. With a lot of things went wrong, and a big part of it was the injuries. So I knew coming in, the Canadiens were not a 15th place team. And last year, you mentioned, things went our way. We stay healthy. Overall was a good, 48-game schedule. We finished second. So where are we? Are we a second-place team? Are we a 15th-place team, or we're somewhere in the middle? So I think we're somewhere in the middle with a lot of teams that fighting for the same spot. It's a lot of competition. Teams are getting better. Detroit's coming over. Columbus, which is better. It's going to be. That's what the NHL is fun today. There's so many. It's a long season. There's so many teams that are right in the mix, and it's going to depend on many things. But staying healthy is a key.
Is it harder to make the playoffs under this alignment than it was before?
Well, it was hard before, and it's even harder now. I mean, can I describe if it's really harder? I think just to look at the teams that you're facing every night. You mentioned our division. Detroit's a good hockey team. Ottawa's good. Toronto's getting better, and it is a good hockey team already. Boston is Boston. Tampa will get better. I believe Florida made their team better, so that's just our division, and it's tough hockey. Now you look at the other side, and you got the Pittsburgh, the Rangers, the Washington. I mean, it's well balanced. It's going to be a grind, and that's what it's going to be fun this year in the NHL. Nothing's going to come easy, and making the playoff, even though I know as a fan you all have high expectation, that itself is quite an accomplishment in today's game.
Mark, so much emphasis now, and you listen to the Leafs or Calgary or a lot of different teams about how they want to get bigger. They want to get bigger. I think if you look over the course of the last few years, I mean, the skill's been there for the Montreal Canadiens, but not size necessarily. Is that something cautious you think about constantly, trying to get bigger?
Well, I think, and Nick, every team, every GM that you talk over the season, not one team's going to say, well, you know what, Mark, I'm trying to get smaller. Can you help me out? So that's not the case. We all want to get bigger. But again, it's all about balance. You need to be big, but you need to be a good hockey player. So it's finding those guys. And the best way to find those guys is by drafting them and bringing them along. I mean, the big guys, the good, strong players, they're not available. So just, you're chasing your own tail. If you think somebody's going to call you one day, say, hey, I got the big, strong winger or defenseman. You know what? I'm trying to move him. So it's not going to happen. So as much as you want to get bigger, and I know pretty much everybody does, it takes time, and you have to do it the right way.
Mark, as a player before, now executive, I'm wondering, making the playoffs first time in a few years, the perception always is that you grow. It's a positive experience, certainly in Toronto. They want to believe that in that series against the Boston Bruins. How much is that is fact? How much is fiction?
Well, making the playoff, we're talking about Toronto last year. They play well the whole year. I mean, we had good. We struggled at home, but we played well in Toronto. I think that the playoff against Boston, for them, I think they fell as a measuring stick, and they went out and got better. And time will tell. But same with us. We play against Ottawa, which no doubt they were the better team, deserved to win. But for me, for our coaching staff, we look at what we got from it, learn, and move forward. I mean, when I was in Chicago, I go back. The year before, we barely missed the playoff. The next year, they won 2 rounds, and they kept getting better. So it's all you get some positive of the negative. And last year, we didn't finish on a good note, but hopefully the guys, learn from it and, come back stronger.
So we know that you're a funny guy, a practical joker all the time.
No, he's a GM now. But that's when he played. Now he's serious.
Now I want to know, how do you get that out of your system now that you're...
you don't.
So there's no desire to go play a joke?
No, I am who I am. I'm not going to change who I am, but yeah, you guys don't see it, but I'm the same guy. It's just that, the dressing room where it used to be where I did my thing, I don't do it there anymore. So my assistant she's always on her toes now.
You got a pair of funny teeth in your pocket right now?
Yeah. Well, my real one are still yellow, so I'm getting impulsive.
Thanks for doing this, bud. Marc Bergevin, Montreal Canadiens. I really appreciate it.
Hey, guys, thank you.
He's their general manager, looking to go back to the playoffs.